Okay, I'm getting ready to do this experiment. A friend of mine happened to have a John Ellis water machine that he lent me to do a bunch of experiments. Got that water going to be going down here, and then the good water going to be going here. So anyways, just pre-set before I start it, and I'll document and record everything. And just so you know, this video, I'm going to continuously say things like, I am not biased, for those people who are just wanting to say I'm biased for whatever reason. I literally hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But if I'm right, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to mince words and, get people's hopes up or so forth. If it works, great. If it doesn't, that too. And I will come out swinging. So, again, I hope I'm wrong because it will mean free energy. As he stated in his video, that you can use this and the amps will go down to almost zero. So I'm going to do a lot of different tests. I'm going to do 3 different ones with tap water, distilled water, and pure John Ellis water. So there will be no doubt when I'm done. There will be no questions, no ifs or buts, and all those haters out there won't have nothing to say except for, uh-oh. Or I'll be wrong and I'll be like, hey, this is great, all right. Okay, anyways, just wanted to give a little setup and getting ready, and I got another video I'll be attaching to this, and this is going to be a lengthy video because I do not want to miss any issues here. Some people commented that it's not valid for certain reasons. Well, okay, I'm going to cover it. That way there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Whichever way it goes, it is what it is. Okay, everybody, I just started it up, and we're going to see how well this works. Lights on. Boiler's boiling, I can feel it. The water is flowing. It got a little cool down right there. I'm going to be putting it into this flask, and all the drain water goes there for the less than powered water, so to speak. So we're more interested in getting the full powered water. I'm going to take this, fill it up, and dump it out, just so I clear anything out and I get as purest possible water. Aside from that, I will be putting this top on, which is a spinner, and I will be back and we will see how well this does. Got a few droplets down there just starting, so it's going to take a little time to warm up and do its job. Okay, here we are. Top is on. I can hear it spinning, fan going, water dripping out there, draining from the overflow, and we're still waiting on more pressure to build up, but just thought I wanted to show that all ready to go. Everything's good, so only time will tell, and we'll produce some more of this water. Okay, here we are. Our first batch, it's filled up almost to the rim. So what I'm going to simply do is empty this all out. Alright, and let it keep going so it fills up completely with purified, energized water. So we'll see that. And once I get this all done, we're going to start on the testing. That way we can confirm one way or the other. Let all the information out there. Whatever it is, it is. If it works, great. I'm happy. I'll be thrilled, and I'll be thrilled to say I'm wrong. But if it's not, I'm going to say it. So all those haters out there, again, I'm trying to be non-biased here. I'm just saying, look, I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because this would mean free energy for everybody. But if I'm right, you're going to get it, haters. So we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to simply do this step by step to make sure everything is perfect and there's no questions. No one saying, well, should have done this or should have done that. No. This whole video, because before I made 2 different videos, and unfortunately some people saw one, didn't see the other, and all these problems happened. So I will be testing this step by step by step. Okay, we're here and it's almost to the top. So I'm going to stop this machine, and I'm just going to end up testing all this water. At least we got some there. We got some from my buddy who made some. So I'm going to do several tests. I mean literally 3 different tests. I'm going to do one with tap water, putting the droplets in. And then I'm going to go with, let me unplug this thing. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to do tap water, put this, as many droplets as the video showed. I'm also going to do distilled water and put the droplets. And then I'm going to take this whole thing and just use pure Ellis water. We're going to go through the gambit of tests. So stay tuned. I got to make many more videos here and attach them to it so we get a full gambit of exactly what's going on here. Okay, in part of the test here for the Ellis water, a friend of mine told me that it produces negative ions, which are beneficial for health. So what I have in front of you is a negative ion generator. That's the generator, there's the battery, and then there's the stainless steel spikes, which create negative ions. Now, negative ions are a little different than ozone. You cannot smell it, and apparently it has some health benefits. And we're going to test the Ellis water because he says that the action of making it creates negative ions. So what I have is a negative ion tester right here, and I'm going to turn it on. Okay. It's jumping in and out because I had this thing on testing it, but you can get the general idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in completely, and then we're going to make sure this negative ion generator is working. And there you go. Wow, it jumped up quite a bit. Let me move this a little, get it more into the, whoa. And it's almost not even registering it, so let's bring it back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, anyways, there's a lot of negative ions being thrown in the air. I'm trying to get it in focus there. Okay. Let's try to move this just a little bit, give you a better sample. See, as I get closer, more negative ions. So, what I want to do here is just prove, okay, this meter works, that it's detecting negative ions. I'm going to turn it off. You can see as soon as I turned it off, it went and it's dropping, dropping, and dropping. So there you go. So I'm going to incorporate this negative ion tester and put it in the system and make sure it works with the John Ellis machine, which I have right here. And I'm going to turn it on and register or see if there's any negative ions being produced as we go. So this is one of many different tests I have planned. And we'll go from there. Okay, I just turned everything on. The light is on. There you go. And the boiler is kicking up, so it's going to take a little bit for this thing to warm up. And I'm going to put another tray down here to capture the so-called energized water. And we'll be back as soon as this thing starts kicking up, and we'll measure it with negative ions. Okay, also just as a control while it's warming up, you can see no negative ions present. And down here, no negative ions present. So just wanted to make sure that nothing was happening yet until it warms up. And then I'll test it once it gets going. Okay, it's on its way. It's doing its thing. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. A little overflow there. Semi-energized, dripping energy, so to speak. So, let's see what we got here. Turning it on. It looks like... Okay. Nothing around here. Didn't expect it to be. Supposedly right here at the drip. Okay. Nothing to write home about. So what we'll do is we'll wait and go a little further until this fills up a little bit more, just to give it a full test to make sure you know what we're when and how. And let's do this, partially energized, so to speak. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Alright, well, come back for another section while this thing keeps on doing its job, and we'll test from there. Okay, it's cooking away, and we got about 3/4 of the way up there. And I also wanted to show you I got two other meters, parts per million and pH. So we're going to run through the gamut of tests. In the meanwhile, we'll still do this one. We'll see where this partially charged water looks like nothing. Okay, and here, and we're getting nothing. So here's the test. Right here, and we're still getting nothing. Okay. Unfortunately, it does not create negative ions. And I'm even waiting for it to spit out some, and we're getting nothing. Alright, so I'm going to kick that off, and I'm going to do a couple more tests. I got the water from yesterday I did, and my buddy did some water. So I'm going to go through this and test them all. We're going to make sure we get these all tested really good, just to make sure there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, I got my two samples right there, plus two more glasses for other things, and my third sample. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, because it's in a different container where I can't get these 2 meters down there, and I'm going to open it. Well, I'm going to open it with one hand, nope, 2 hands, so I'm going to have to get back to you as soon as I open it. Plus, I got some distilled water we're going to test for comparison. In fact, you know what? I'll even put a third. I'll put just regular tap water, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. Alright, now I just undid that. So we're just going to take one of these. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll do this one first, where I turn the water on. And just fill it with regular tap water. Alright. Okay, we got the tap water filled. Now this is the one my buddy did with the Ellis energized water. And again, the reason I'm putting it in here is so I can test it, because I can't get the meters down this hole there. And we'll go with the third one, which is distilled water. Okay. And here we go from a distance. Okay. So that'll give us a good, fair approximation of everything. All right, let's start with the parts per million. All right, now I'm going to turn this thing on. See if I can see that in the camera. Okay, come on. There we go. All right, it's going to be a little tough to see. 0, 0, 0, 0. We'll start with this one and work my way back. Okay. It's not bad. All right. Looks like it's pretty good. Next one. Not bad at all. 0, 0. Okay. So we know it pretty much distills water. We'll see what happens. Here's where my buddy put his. And that looks pretty good. Okay. All right. Now we'll go with the tap. That's the distilled water. Okay. That's pretty good as well. Now this should be the difference. Here is regular tap water. And there is, as you can see. So, the test is okay. It's just making sure everything is what it is. And so far, distilled water and all three Ellis waters seem to be about the same. So we'll go with pH. Okay. pH. That's interesting. I'll have to look that up. It looks like 6 or 7. I'm not sure. Yeah, around 650. Okay. We'll go for this one. 662. Okay. This one, pretty much the same, then a few differences. All right, now here we go, distilled water. All right, distilled is a little more, 702. Okay, it's interesting to know. So here's regular tap water. Okay, so tap water is less pH than the Ellis water. Let me try that again. That's interesting. All right, let's see. Yeah, sure enough. Huh. Go figure. Let me try the tap water again just for sake of curiosity. And yeah. So, I don't know what that says, but it's good information just to know. So, just wanted to clarify that. I'm going to take all this and I'm going to run it through electrolysis. And I'm going to do it with a battery because one guy said that I should have used a battery. DC is DC, but okay, no problem. I'm going to use a battery. Just like the guy said on Ellis's website, so-called proof. And I hope I'm wrong because this will be great. But if I'm right, sorry, you haters, you can't say anything. So we'll give it a test and we'll make sure this works and, see what happens and go from there. Okay, something else I'm prepping for here. I'm making more of this and I'm putting it in a large container here as it goes. My reasoning for that is I'm going to fill the whole system for electrolysis with 100% Ellis water. I just wanted to check a few things. But anyways, as that fills up, I'm going to, I need to turn this up just a little. Okay. Anyways, once I do that, I got this all ready to go. A nice little tube cell and clear container. That way you can see everything that's going on. It's going to produce whatever it's going to produce and go from there. And yep, starting to get some more dripping in there. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I figure it this way. Sure, the guy put regular tap water or distilled water and then added droplets. Okay, that's fine. What would happen if it's supposedly 100% charged water, 102 degrees, has a lot of energy like steam? Okay, why not use the whole dang thing? See what happens. I don't know, it seems like common sense to me that if a few drops work, a whole vat will work even better. Anyways, I'll get you those results as soon as I get this all made up and this all filled, and I got a battery over there on my charger getting ready to go. So this should be an interesting test, and I'll give it 100% fair, free, whatever it be, whatever it be. If it's great, it's great. If it's not, it's not. And we will see what happens. Okay, getting ready for the test here. First, what I'm going to do is distilled water and my little tube set. I even have a little eyedropper right here. So I'm just going to fill this thing up and then crank it on and then start adding some Ellis water. And we'll see how well that goes. And we are filled. There we go. All right, so that's plenty right there. Okay, so let me just crank this up real quick just for sake of it before I add the Ellis water. As you can see, I'm hooking up to a battery. And we'll see how this does any on distilled water. Okay, don't really see much action or anything there. I'm going to get back to you because I tell you what I'm going to do is, oh no, there it is. Okay, I can start seeing the bubbles, but distilled water doesn't usually react very well because that's what you use electrolyte for. So I'll get right back to you. I'm going to disconnect this and I'm going to restart the experiment and I'm going to research just to make sure I know exactly how many drops were put in, and then we'll do the test and kind of go from there. Okay, I'm back. I had to give myself the amp meter and put it in line. Now I'm going to hook this up, and it's not going to do much just because it's distilled water, but you'll see the amp meter move a little bit. And we'll pull it off just to show you. Yep. So it's barely, point so amps. But that's okay. So what we'll do is we'll see what we got here going with 20 drops. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get some more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, we've got 20 drops in there. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's barely producing anything. Let me see if I can get it on the side here. Nope. Okay. Can barely see the thing. Okay. Anyways, yeah, just kind of tough to see. There you go. Okay. So the production is, basically nothing. And that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to test this just like they said. We're going to wait. We're going to see over time and see if this production goes any further. I also have a cap I'm going to be putting on here with a meter. Now, one thing I do have to say, in that video, he was producing, HHO. He's like, I'm getting a lot of production going. This is great. Well, actually, no. What I saw there was barely, I don't even think it was a half liter, maybe even less. There is nothing you can run off of that. That production is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, the other thing he put in was a good old, he called it what was it? Gosh, I gotta think of that. But anyways, he put in a device that's, like a Joule Thief, okay? And it's basically a small transformer. Well, he said he was going from 31 amps down to almost nothing. Well, that's what a Joule Thief will do. But your production won't be hardly anything, which that's what the video showed. Virtually no production. He calls it, great production. No. That production was piss poor, pitiful. I gotta tell you, you could not run anything on it. That's why I think this guy Dave Davies is all off on. Oh, he never used. Stan Myers never used hydrogen. Well, he does not know his ass from a hole in the ground. He used hydrogen, and he's trying to say, "Oh yeah, you had to put other stuff." Sure, no shit, Sherlock. But guess what? There was a lot of other stuff he put, but the main thing was hydrogen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I got first-hand knowledge it was hydrogen. So he is absolutely wrong. He just doesn't know how to produce it fast enough without putting a lot of amps to it. That's where he has an issue. Anyways, I'll let this go, and I'll come back and we'll see if there's any further production, and or if the amp meter moves any or does anything like that. And once I'm done with this one, we'll go with regular tap water, and then we'll go with 100% full Ellis water, or as they called it, Oregon water. And we'll see. Again, even though I railed on this guy, Dave Davies, I hope he's right. I really do. Because if he's right, oh my gosh, we will have something serious and good for free energy. But so far, he is wrong. And he's wrong on so many other things. I can't see him being right on this. But time will tell. Will I apologize, or will I tell him he needs to learn how to read? Okay, we'll see. All right, bye. Okay, it's been several hours. I'm going to make sure this runs throughout the day and tomorrow, just to be sure. Now, according to this, the energized water should activate this and produce a lot more production. So far, it's not. And we'll see throughout the day, remember this little bitty production, which is nothing, which is actually, believe it or not, this is normal, because when you put distilled water in there with no electrolyte, it reacts that way. That's normal. The supposedly energized water / Oregon water is supposed to have a lot of energy, and only 20 20 drops supposed to do this. So we'll see. Well, tomorrow I'm going to videotape this in the morning, and we'll go from there and see what it looks like and or what's happening with it. And after that, we'll switch it out. We'll put normal tap water, and you'll see a big difference in production. And then we'll try with the Oregon water, and we'll see what the amps are, and do the whole gambit. And then obviously the third test, I will fill this 100% full of Ellis water. And I mean, I don't know about you, but the more the merrier. It should make some sort of a difference, and we're going to find out. Till tomorrow. Okay, just to add a little thing while we're waiting for all this to spin up and so forth. Just wanted to make sure you got almost 13 volts coming out of this battery. So, just to make sure no one decided to say, oh, the battery is probably dead, and, crazy crap like that. They aren't going to get away with it. I'm covering it. Well, here's a small LPM meter that I got. This is a lid for this. If I get any kind of production going, I'm going to put that on there to see if there's any kind of liters per minute. And I just wanted to touch base on that one. And battery's going strong, so we'll see what we'll see. Okay, it's morning time. Let me turn a light on here. 1 sec. Here we go. Yep, just a lot of debris from any excess stuff that might have been around on there, as expected. Nothing to write home about. Okay, so I didn't expect much from this test anyway, so it's no big deal. It was one of those, we'll see how it works anyway. One guy did comment on using distilled water, and there you go. So, just for shits and giggles, Yes, shits and giggles. What I'm going to do is just for the fun of it. I have plenty of this Ellis water I made. I'm just going to pour in a whole bunch of it, see if any reaction happens. So, I'm going to wait for this test to go a little bit further just to see. So I poured way more than, they say, oh, I had 20 drops. I'll probably give it about an hour and I'll be back and we'll see if there's any change to this. Okay, here we go. Still plenty of volts going out. Very minimal amps. It's probably milliamp range, which, that's normal. And not a big deal. All right, just wanted to do this test as an extra just because I wanted to, cover all the bases. And I dumped a whole bunch of that Ellis water in there, and I'm gonna say it's not looking very promising. Okay, so we'll move on to the next test, and we'll go with plain old tap water. And this should have more of a reaction because tap water has iron and various things in it that normal distilled water does not, which allows it to flow electrons and amperage goes up considerably and more production. So, see you on the next video and I'll switch this out. Okay, here we go. Now, we have normal tap water in here. And I did a quick test, and you were going to be surprised. So, got the battery. I'm going to hook up the battery, and once I do, I'm going to show you this and the amps, and you'll see a big difference from the last one, which was distilled water. All right, here we go. I'm going to hook it up right now. So, there's the production. You see quite a bit. Now, the amps have jumped up to 1 amp, approximately. Okay, now a lot of people say, oh my gosh, look at that production. That's nothing. That is literally going to do nothing. I mean, in order to run a vehicle, even though hydrogen is more powerful than gasoline, you have to have a lot of liters per minute. Anyways, aside from that, what I'm going to do here is take the good old Ellis water and fill it up and give it the 20 droplets. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20. Okay. So I got 20 droplets in there. We're at 1 amp. All right. I'm going to let this thing run and do the same test over again. So, according to the so-called proof on Alice's video with Davies, it's going to say over time, the amps will drop down to almost nothing. And again, what I was saying before, he put a toroid in there. Couldn't think of the name before. And a toroid is essentially a joule thief. And it will drop the amps down to almost nothing, but your production rate will be just like this. Can't get around it. That's why this guy has not done any other videos on it, because he realizes, oh, I can't do that. That's why he was up to 31 amps before, producing a lot more. But you know what? You run into that problem. If you do standard electrolysis, it takes more electricity to produce than the hydrogen to use in order to replenish it. Unless you're able to do it like Stan Myers did, where he had a device which actually used straight voltage and was able to break it down, so he was able to produce far more hydrogen than the electric use of breaking it down. There's a lot more details to that, but for this experiment, I'm not going to go into that because we're dealing with the Ellis water and seeing if there's any kind of difference and or the proof that it's energized water, that it will make electrolysis go down to 0 amps. So far, we shall see. All right, see you in a few hours, and then I'm going to wait for the rest of the day and then check in the morning again. Okay, it's been a little bit of time, and I just wanted to show you. You notice the yellowish discoloring of the water. That's normal. In fact, even in his video, Davy's video, his is all yellow because he's been running it. And that's what happens. When you have tap water, you have all kinds of stuff in it, and as the electrolysis happens, the hydrogen and oxygen gets there, and all the contaminants get kind of shut out, moved out from the water, and that's very normal. So it's been running for a while now. It's still at an amp. It's actually just a little above an amp where it was before. But okay, we'll just keep monitoring and seeing how well this does through the night, and proof positive one way or the other. Okay, it's been a couple hours, and as you can see, it's much darker. In fact, it's very similar and looks just like Dave Davies' video where he has yellowish water, which is, typical. That's normal. By the way, big difference here. There's only one tube set in here. Davies had, a larger thing he called a vortex thing, which, made a lot more bubbles, and that's understandable. More surface area, and, that's pretty normal when it comes to production of HHO. But just wanted to show you, it's still just over an amp. Battery's going fine. Just kicking away and creating things, but adding that Ellis water so far hasn't dropped it at all. So I'm willing to wait for the whole day, and we're going to give it a try. And tomorrow morning, when I wake up, I'm going to look, and of course I'll be checking it throughout the day. I'll probably wake up a few times, check it out just to make sure, and we'll go from there. So, the biggest video that I'm going to be doing right after this one is 100% pure Ellis water. I don't know, it makes sense to me. That would be a big one. I don't know why no one's ever tried it. Probably because people have tried it and it didn't work. But, go figure. I don't know that. I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. So, again, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then this would mean something big for free energy. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning and make up another video here and show you what the results are. Okay, here we go. It's morning time. It's been running for a while. And it looks like the amps have moved nowhere. In fact, actually maybe slightly up, not down. Disappointing, but what can you do? This is a normal process of electrolysis, and it happens. That's what you get left over from it. And, well, unfortunately, looks like this test is a bust. Okay, so I'm going to empty this out. Then I'm going to fill it with 100% pure Ellis water. The energized water. Let's make this happen. See you on the next video. Okay, here we are. Now, we got this ready to go. I'm going to be putting in the pure Ellis water. And I got to be honest with you, still a little bit, I doubt it. But if anything should work, this should work. So we're going to give it a shot. That's the 2 containers that I had made, and I made a 3rd container filled here, but I need both my hands. It's a lot more. But anyways, I'll fill this up, and then we'll do the test, and we'll see if this energized water does something. Okay, here we are. I just filled it up. Looks like very clean water, that's for sure. This is the first time I'm hooking it up to the battery, so I'm curious to see what will happen and what the amp draw will be. So let me get this organized. Here we go. Okay, ready for the clip, and there we go. Oh, not bad. Half, maybe a quarter of an amp. Production, it's fairly decent. Okay, wow, I'm actually kind of surprised. Yeah, and let's see where the amps lie. Just above zero. Okay, well, hey, I will let this thing run and we'll see where this goes and or what it will do. Although I gotta admit the production is lackluster. The but it is showing something. Okay. Anyways, let the experiment go. Come back in a couple hours, and then the next day, and we will see if there's any other difference results. So theoretically, I believe here's what should happen. Being that it's supposedly energized water and has a lot of things, it should produce a lot more HHO and keep the amps down to almost nothing. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see, but I don't know. Uh, yep, only one way to find out, and that's just watch the experiment and kind of go from there. Did want to mention, yeah, anything like this or even the previous one, the amount of production, it couldn't run nothing. I mean, there's nothing it could run. It's just minimal. I mean, even if I had many of these cells, like 5 or 6 of them around, that probably would, in the same amount coming out of each one, you wouldn't be able to run even a small engine. Just so you know, for comparison. Anyways, I guess I'll see you in a few hours. Okay, it's been a few hours. It's still doing its, just light, really nothing major. Amps are about the same, just over zero. But, you know, this is supposed to be energized water. How come it's not energetic and releasing all kinds of hydrogen and so forth? Yeah, indeed. I don't know. So I'll hold my judgment until tomorrow morning, and we'll go from there. Um, yep, we'll just see what happens. And by the way, after these videos, I got several other things I'm going to point out. Like, for instance, on Ellis Water's site, it's no longer deuterium depleted water. Apparently, someone contacted him and he reluctantly said, well, yeah, I guess we found out it really wasn't deuterium depleted. He said it himself, and that's why he took all the info on the Ellis site off that said deuterium depleted. Okay, I'll give him for that. Mistakes happen. People do make mistakes. I make mistakes. That's why I'm doing the test here to find out for sure. So, fine. Deuterium depleted, off the table. Even though his videos still say it out there. But, at least he made an effort. Energized water? Not looking so energized. So, I guess we'll find out and go from there. Okay, here we are, next morning. Looks like I didn't even get to use this thing, but I'll put that aside. Looks like we're at the same sort of thing. It's basically just like distilled water. Very similar. Distilled water had a little more in it, so I can honestly say, hey, this is a little bit cleaner water, so not as much gunk is coming out. Well, that's kind of a good thing. Yeah, still 12.6 some volts. And yeah, just over 0 amps. um, you know, I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. Energized water my ass. See, here's the problem I have. Okay, let me just dial this back a little bit. If this energized water works for you, that's great. Go for it. I don't care if it's placebo or it really works. Hey, I'm more power to you. Do it. All I'm doing is giving you all the facts that I'm doing testing. Literally, this is 100% pure Ellis water, energized water, and it's doing nothing. So my thought is, okay, I cannot prove that it has any health benefits or something like that. But what I can prove is if it doesn't have energy in it, and that's the main claim, then it's very doubtful that this is going to do anything for your body. Aside from being clean water, I mean, I give it that. It's very clean water. And, you know, I just gotta call it the way I call it. So, this is about it. That's the test that I got. All these three different tests, all the ozone, the negative ions, the pH, and parts per million. I'm just laying it out there. This is exactly what you get. This is exactly what it is. There's no disputing this. People will probably say, "Oh no, didn't do this or didn't do that," but you know what? Here it is. The results are the results, and I'm just letting you have the results. You make up your mind. I obviously made up my mind just from reviewing the test. And I say this to everybody. If you're going to doubt this and you want to say something's biased or something's doing it, do your own test. There you go. Do it. That way you can prove to yourself whether it's false or true. I guarantee you, you're not going to get any reaction because I literally followed this one by the book, made it in a machine, and just tried to do it over time along with a battery and amp meter. So there it is. The results are the results.